Nightwalker's ST revealed. Let's begin. Welcome back to another episode. Last week we didn't get that much content, honestly. We did get the exclusive alpha pet for the team Zeta that won, or I guess participated in the Japan region, if I believe correctly. This pet was a cool wolf with a kind of metal mask with electricity kind of vibing around it. But one of the issues that it had was that it was only for echoes. I was expecting it to come for fragments and echoes as an option, but instead it only came for echoes only. That was very surprising for me. Of course, I did know that the Double 5 one, the one that they have in China as well, was for echoes only, but I really wasn't expecting the alpha pet to come for that. It is a nice pet though, so if you did spend those 788 echoes for the first week only, I believe it was on discount, and then after that it's going to be over 800 echoes. I can't remember how much it was, but if you do like it and you did get it, well, fantastic. We got some little adjustments last week as well, where they made it so that the morality points will be removed from players when they repeatedly leave early after pressing the ready button. So they press ready, they don't get into the match, and they will lose more morality points. This is an issue because, especially in the NA EU server, a lot of people have connection issues connecting to the game, especially recently where the game seems to be working like this. So I don't really know what their plan is to actually fix the issues of the game itself, because it's not that people are just leaving matches early, it's just that people can't connect. People are getting kicked out of the game crashes, their connection to the server dies, and it's not really their fault at all. They're just sitting there waiting for a game. They need to fix that before they start punishing people for not being able to connect to their servers, in my personal opinion. They adjusted Wildling. Now he can get on or off his ball when he's on an incline or on staircases. I wasn't even aware that this was a problem in the first place. I thought he could do this already. I'm like, why can't he do this? I guess they fixed that. How many years after his release? Moonlit River Park has had some adjustments to how its rocket chairs spawn. So they've made it so there are 2 rocket chairs that will now permanently spawn. Sometimes they would spawn, sometimes they wouldn't, depending on, I think, like Cypher machine layout and stuff like that. Well, this time they've made it so that those 2 will spawn. One of them is by the first stop exit gate, and the other one is by the broken carousel, right underneath the second stop, if I remember correctly. Those 2 are now permanently there, and they've also apparently fixed or adjusted how rocket chairs will refresh on that map as well. There was a mini event, I guess you could say, in the game where they added the COA VI daily login event where you could get golden apples, and also subscribe to events to get more golden apples to be able to spend in the golden apple store that is the kind of COA event store, I guess you could say. It's nice that we're getting these events back, and I guess if you keep on saving them over a couple of decades, you might get enough to get that first officer accessory. And a small little gift they gave us last week was a nice little portrait frame that came from Identity V's official Japanese Twitter account, reaching 1 million followers. That's actually quite a lot of followers. Let's move on and talk about what we're going to be getting this week. And surprisingly, it's not a lot, at least not a lot that they've announced to us. There are 2 skins coming this week, and that's going to be the COA VI Team Wolves inspired skin. So they came from COA 5. They won COA 5, I believe. I can't remember, it was a year ago already. And they of course got to choose which characters they wanted to get skins for the following year, as they do every year. Last time we got the Panda skin for Guard 26 and a Mechanic skin as well. I think that's what we got last time. Team Wolves asked for Sculptor and Mercenary to get skins, and they have released what they look like, and they look really good. We've got the Sculptor Sirius skin and Mercenary Sagittarius skin. They're both A tiers, nice and fancy. We're really cool to see these in game. Sculptor has a ton of skins now. It's kind of crazy. This week, of course, we're still continuing the COA VI event, so that means you'll be able to do more daily logins, I believe, and you'll be able to support your teams that have been playing over the weekends and will continue to play over the next few weekends as we're doing the qualifiers to be able to get to the final world semi-finals, finals, and all that kind of stuff. Let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be getting in the future. One thing that we did get, I think I needed to mention it last week, was we got the reveal for Nightwatch's abilities. This is what I wanted to talk about and what we might be getting in the future. They did reveal all of his abilities, and of course they are in the test server right now, and these numbers are not final numbers. There have been multiple cases where changes have been put into the test server overnight. They've been changed, numbers have been changed completely, and even what was finally on the test server the day before a patch was completely different to what you guys actually got on the day of the patch. So these numbers will change. First of all, Nightwatch has different abilities. His passive is Windwalker. This is basically his resource kind of kit. After casting a Tempest ability, of which he has 2, you can get 1 wind charge of wind force up to a maximum of 3 for when he gets to full presence. And then he will use one of these charges of wind force when he uses one of his wind walk abilities that he again has 2 of those. He has 2 tempest abilities and 2 wind walk abilities. Using one will give you stacks, or technically charges, and that the other ability, wind walk, will consume to be able to use them. The wind walk abilities, as far as I know currently, have no cooldown, so as long as you have those charges, you can spam your wind walk abilities one after another. But the tempest abilities do have cooldowns. His first presence gives you wind walk and tempest. Tempest is how you get the charge. If you cast tempest for 5 seconds, you'll be able to create a strong wind that will pull survivors slowly towards you and will slow down their movement speed if they're moving in the other opposite direction. This will give you 1 charge for every 2 seconds of you using tempest. I believe that the wind gets stronger over the distance, but I can't remember completely. Wind walk, his other ability that consumes one of those charges, will increase your movement speed by 24%, and I think you get slower over 5 seconds. So you start at 24% faster and you slowly get slower back into normal speed again. But you can spam this again. So if you used, for example, 2 tempest abilities, you might have 3 stacks or something, you have 2 or 3 stacks, then you'll be able to wind walk for 5 seconds, wind walk again, and wind walk again for another like 15 seconds of faster-ish moving speed. Now let's say he gets to his first presence ability. That was his 0 presence ability. Sorry if I messed up a little bit before. Now he gets his first presence ability. He gets wind walk charge and tempest cyclone. So tempest cyclone again gives him a charge, and it will quickly pull survivors towards himself. So this is different than the normal tempest ability that slowly pulls them towards you. This ability will kind of almost like a gamekeeper kind of pull them towards you really quickly. This does not pull them over objects at all. They have to be physically in front of you, and they also need to not have anything between you for them to go the full distance. If you do get them over a small wall, instead they'll just crash into the object between you and them. Windwalk charge, instead of increasing your movement ability, will instead dash you forwards. This ability does not deal damage upon collision. It does not deal damage upon collision, but of course you can spam this up to 3 or 4 times possibly if you have enough charges from your tempest ability. His final ability, or his final presence, gives him a buff pretty much to all of his charges. It's called Spawn of the Winds, and it means that instead of having a max of 3 charges, you now get a maximum of 4 charges, and instead of giving you 1 charge per tempest ability that you use, it will instead give you 2. So technically that means that if you used tempest, you'd be able to get full stacks by using that ability once. Kind of crazy. Of course, as I said, these numbers might change and probably will change over the next week before this character gets released. Another thing, the test server that they added, I'm not really sure if this is already in the game or if this is just a typo that they added. Apparently they've changed it so that prospectors' magnets and little girls' memory fragments won't let survivors leave roller coasters, trams, slides, or rope swings anymore. Apparently that's already a thing. I didn't know that was a thing. That's now in the test server and probably a big fix for some kind of hack or technique that's secret. I don't really know. Some other things that we're going to be seeing in the future. Of course, they just a few minutes before I started recording, they revealed the skin for Nightwalker, his S tier that will be coming in the next essence. I didn't have enough time to check what the other skins were, but as I understand, Nightwalker's skin is going to be themed on Nebuchadnezzar, that is meant to be the technically the leader of Babylon. I don't really know what the other characters are. From what I can see in this picture, it looks like Weeping Clown will be getting one, and the other one, not really sure which character that is. I can't really tell from the picture. She's holding a heart, so is it a doctor? I don't really know. But the skins do look really fancy, and of course, this is going to be a fan favorite character in general. I think a lot of people are going to like it. If you go into the test server, this character definitely sounds, this new character, of course, Nightwalk, does sound a lot like Ripper. He has some of the same voice kind of lines as Ripper does. A lot of the same kind of humming and stuff when he's sitting on the chair, and laughs and stuff like that. So they are definitely aiming towards the Ripper fan base with this character design. Which skin are you most excited for? The Sculptor Sirius skin or the Mercenary Sagittarius skin? And make sure you check out the video that I've got up here right now. That was my recent video that I put on my channel.